If you study the lives of all the greats, one thing you'll find in common that they all had was a dream. See, they all had a vision for how they wanted their life to look. And every day they got up and aligned their actions with that dream, with that vision, until what was only a thought, a vision in their mind, became their reality. The whole world is just one big blank white canvas, and you are the artist. Your thoughts are the colors. Your action, your grind is the paintbrush. Now get up every single day and paint the life that you want to experience, the life that you want to live. Now you heard me on the last message talking about getting clear on what you want in life. Now for me, I'm filtering every decision I make this year through three things. That is fire, truth, and music. Now what I mean by this, fire. Okay, fire is passion. It's what makes me feel the most alive in life. Now hear me out. People with small dreams are lukewarm people. They're not very excited about life. So I'm gonna dream big. Everything I do, I'm pushing the envelope. I'm allowing and inviting God into my situation. Because some of you see, when you got small dreams, you boxing God out. Faith is an invitation for God to come invade your life. So I'm gonna dream big, where I've gotta put myself in a position of faith. Stop dreaming dreams that are equal to your own ability and start dreaming dreams that are equivalent to the God that you serve. The day you start believing is the day you start living. Faith is the match that will set you on fire. Now when I say fire, I'm talking about I want fire in everything. I want relationships that are deeply connected, that make me feel alive. I want to do work every single day that I'm excited about. Excited to open my eyes in the morning and hate to close them at night because I'm scared I might miss out on something. I'm very keen to my inner energy. And if what I'm about to do doesn't excite me on the inside, I don't do it. Now let me clear that up. Some things in life, the process of building a dream is not going to be fun, right? If I want a championship body, I'm gonna have to work that body out. And some of that ain't gonna be fun, but see, what I'm working towards, that champion body, excites me. If you wanna be successful in life, you have to set yourself on fire. If you set yourself on fire, the world will come see you burn. If you're working a job right now that does not set you on fire, your number one objective in life should be to get out of that job and move toward the things that make you feel alive on the inside. That's it. Success chases those on fire. The second thing I'm filtering everything through this year is truth. First, God's truth, His word, His time-tested word, laws and principles that govern success. Anything I'm doing, I'm seeking the word first before I do it. Seek ye first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things shall be added unto you. I seek the word first, and then I seek the word that's on the inside of me. I live through authenticity. Anything not rooted in truth is temporary. There is no long-term success outside of one's truth. To step fully into greatness, one must become self-aware of the maker who made him and the person that He made him to be. And when you live from that space, from that thinking, from that mental arena, you become blessed and unstoppable. Only when you are in truth can you fully be bold and pursue your dreams with the aggressiveness required to make it a reality. If you don't know who you are, how you expect the world to know who you are? The greats don't become great until they have full revelation of who they are. Martin Luther King knew who he was. Jesse Owens knew who he was. Joe Namath, Broadway Joe, knew who he was. Muhammad Ali knew who he was. Michael Jordan, Alexander the Great, Leonardo da Vinci, Beethoven, Napoleon, Mark Zuckerberg, Bill Gates, Elon Musk, all of them knew who they were. Greatness derives out of self-awareness. The third thing that I'm filtering everything through is music. And when I say music, I don't mean just physical music. Everything in this world is a vibration. Creativity It's what I'm talking about here. An expression from the inside. Whether it be writing poems, writing songs, writing books, acting, dancing, painting, drawing, business. Yes, even business is music. Relationships is music. Your relationship with God, your spiritual walk, your health, that is music. You are the Beethoven, the composer, the orchestrator of your life. Now I ask you, maestro, what do you want the soundtrack of your life to sound like? Now let me show you how to marry these three together. You gotta set yourself on fire with the things that you love to do. And then you wrap those things in God's truth. Then wrap them in your own authenticity. The realness is on the inside of you. And then you get up every day and express yourself. The average person lives linear, 9-to-5 timeline, doing something they were never designed to do. The greats live vertical. They go deep down inside, find their own truth, find the truth that God put in them. They look up and give Him praise, and they rise. Now I'm gonna lay out 10 steps here for you to help you make that dream, that vision you have on the inside of you. How to take that and make it a reality. The first step is to seek God first in everything you do. I had a guy approach me one time when I was speaking, and he said, I listen to every message and been to a bunch of your live events, and every time you speak, you say, seek God first. I hear that over and over and over. And the way he said it, it was like he was disappointed. So I told him this story. There was this small church out in the country, and this pastor had been leading it for 40 years. Now he retired, and they brought in this new pastor, and he had a different kind of anointing on his life. When he spoke with power. He came in there the first week and gave it an amazing sermon that lit the whole crowd, the congregation, on fire. Then the second week, he came back to that same congregation and did the exact same sermon, the exact same wording. Then the third week, he came back again and repeated the same sermon that he gave the first week. And when the congregation had left, one of the bishops, one of the elders, pulled the pastor to the side and said, Pastor, I don't know if you know it or not, but some of the brothers and sisters here and some of the choir members have voiced their concerns over your messaging, saying that you have preached the same sermon 3 weeks in a row. They are questioning our hiring of you, wondering whether you are the right one to lead this congregation. Now this pastor had been assigned to this specific church by Almighty God. He was rooted in fire, in faith, and was unrattled by the question of this bishop. He opened his mouth and said, I am not here to give the congregation what they want. I have been assigned to give them what they need. And what they need is to hear that message over and over and over again until it takes root down in their spirit. We must do more than just read, hear, and breathe the word. We must become it. We must walk it out. And when I see this congregation begin to walk it out, I will move on to the next message, but not until then. Now all of you out there listening, I want you to remember this. It's not how much of these videos that you listen to. It's how much of the information on these videos that you take and apply to your life. Now the foundation of our success starts in our alone time with God, because every time we get alone with God, we give birth to something. If we buy a product and it malfunctions or is not working properly, the thing we do is call the manufacturer. See, the manufacturer of the product knows what the product was designed to do and what it is supposed to do and how it's supposed to do it. It's the same with us in life. If we have a problem, a challenge, a trial, a tribulation, we go to the manufacturer, our creator, God, the one who made us. See God first in everything. I was asked to speak at this big church, and before the lesson started, I heard people talking about the powerful message that was given on Sunday. So as I was giving my message to the congregation, I said, could somebody please tell me what Sunday's message was about? Now this is a well-attended church, so on the night I was speaking there, it was wall to wall in there. But see, the thing was, only 1/3 of the hands went up. So I called on one of the members. I said, please tell me what the message was about. So the elder stood up with his Bible in his hand and proudly gave me a summary of Sunday's message. So I asked the audience a second question. I said, could somebody please tell me one thing you're gonna do this week to apply that message? And in this massive church that was packed out wall to wall, a mysterious thing happened. All the hands went down. It was like you could hear a needle drop in that place. They knew every horse and every horn that was gonna blow on the last day. They knew every word of the book of Revelation, but did not know one verse that they can apply to everyday life. I asked the congregation, raise your hand if you would like to see your financial situation improve. And every single hand in the congregation went up. So I asked the second question, could somebody please stand and recite a Bible verse that tells us how to improve our financial situation so that we can become the head and not the tail, above, not below, how we can lend to many nations and not borrow. And all the hands that were up, again, all of them came down. Now hear me out. I want to clear something up. I am not disrespecting the church I'm talking about here, because this church is just symbolic of all the churches across the land. This is what's going on. This is why the church looks just like the world. The divorce rate, the same as the world. Bankruptcy's the same as the world. Sickness and disease is the same in the church as it is in the world. This is why we don't see the power, we don't see the miracles, we don't see the breakthroughs that we read about, because we are not in relationship with God. We have traded in relationship and the word of God with rituals, thinking it's the same thing. It is not. Just because you go to church and sit on a pew on Sunday does not mean that you are a warrior of God. In order to be a warrior for God, you gotta have faith, and you gotta walk that faith out with action rooted in the word. We have traded in being the church for going to church. We have traded in our relationship for religion because it's tangible. The world is in a state of chaos because we as the church, out of ignorance, laziness, and a lack of faith, have turned over our responsibility of changing the world and given it to politicians, expecting them to do what we have been anointed and assigned to do. It's time for us to stop fooling ourselves and get up out of them pews and get out of these streets and do what we've been called to do. And stop telling the world that hell, fire, and brimstone message and tell them that God loves them. We have to love the lost to bring them back home. Now the second step to making your dream a reality is you gotta capture that dream, that vision, and you gotta capture it down on paper. Write the vision and make it plain so he that read it can run with it. That is biblical. If your dream, if your vision is not written down, you are outside the word of God. You heard on my last message where I talked about the best-selling author, his process for writing his books and how he went about it. And the first thing he did was write the last chapter first. This way the rest of his writing was always focused, and he always knew where he was going to end up because he had written the ending first. This is the same with your life. Capture the vision, the dream that you want, the outcome, the end result, and get that down on paper as clear and precise and accurate as possible. My wife and I wanted to build a new home, so we went to sit down with the builder. The first thing the builder asked was, what kind of home do you want? How many bedrooms do you want? Bathrooms? What kind of roof do you want? 2-story, 1-story? How many square feet are you looking for? What kind of floor do you want? Tile, wood, carpet, what is it? And once we got all these questions out of the way, a couple weeks later, the builder brought us back in and showed us the blueprint for our new home. All the contractors will build our new house, our new home from that blueprint. And it's the same with life. Life will build from the blueprint that you give it. In your mind, you need a 4K, high resolution, high definition vision in your mind for what you want your life to look like. Then you gotta export that mental vision, that dream that you have on the inside. You gotta export it from the mental arena and get it down on paper, down to the smallest detail. The first breath of life that you give to a dream is when you put it down on paper. What is it that you want in life? What is it that you want to experience? How do you want to feel every day when you get up? What sets you on fire on the inside? Get that down on paper. Your imagination is the Michelangelo that sculpts the life that you live. Some of you are dreaming too small. Dream bigger, because with God, all things are possible. Before you can take possession of something in the physical, you gotta first take up residence of it in the mind, your mental arena will always produce a life equivalent to it. The great Muhammad Ali, he used to have this gift, this knack for calling out the round that he was going to defeat his opponent before he ever fought him. And the way he was able to do this was he fought the fight with the opponent in his mind over and over and over again before he ever got in the ring. That's why he knew the outcome before it ever got started. He could feel all the sensations in his body of knocking this opponent out in the 5th round. He could feel TKOing the champion in the 6th round. Whatever it was, he fought it first in his mind. Third step now to making your dreams become a reality is to lay out the top outcomes that you desire to accomplish. There's a hierarchy here. First is, what do I want my legacy to be? What do I want to be remembered for here on earth? See, that's your legacy. That's at the top. Underneath that top is outcomes. What outcomes, if I achieved them, would produce that legacy? What outcomes do you want to accomplish in life? Here's an example. A man says, I want to make the world a better place. Now his outcome might be, I'm gonna build orphanages all across the continent of Africa. Once he knows his outcome, then he sets his goals, and his goals would be raise the funds, the capital, and assemble the team needed to make that dream a reality. One of the biggest mistakes that average people make is they come up with New Year's resolutions. They set goals before they ever figure out the outcome that they want in life. Successful people do the inner homework. That's why they become successful. I don't know how many people have come up to me and told me they have read my book cover to cover. And I say, man, that is awesome. Then I ask them a question. Did you do the self-assessment questions? Did you do the action steps? Did you do the homework that I laid out in there for you? 90% of the time I can tell by the look on their face, they did not do the homework. You cannot get change, you cannot get transformation if you are not willing to put the work in. And see, the work is on the inside. The greats understand that the war, the battle, is won first on the inside. People who don't have a clear vision for their life attempt to compensate for it by filling their day up with meaningless tasks. I see people every day at my seminars and my speaking events, and they say, Grind City all day. I love your videos, man. I'm grinding every day. I'm getting up at 4 o'clock in the morning. And then I'll pull them to the side and say, okay, tell me what your vision is. What is your plan for your life? What do you want it to look like? And again, I get that silly, dumb, I don't know look on their face. I'm not trying to be hard on you, man. I'm trying to change your life. I'm trying to help you. And in order to help you, you gotta do these things. Not just listen to these videos, you gotta walk them out. Vision is the genesis of all greatness. Once you decide on your legacy, once you wanna leave the earth when you are gone, once you establish the outcomes that will produce that legacy, then we move to number 4, which is lay out realistic time-based goals that will allow you to achieve those outcomes. These goals will help keep you in focus every day when you wake up. You will know where you are going, what you are moving towards, and how to get there because you have laid it out step by step on paper. Successful people know exactly what they want in life. Only by knowing precisely where you want to go can you plan out an effective strategy to get there. You can use the SMART method. See, laying out the smart way will help you identify the milestones needed to keep you on the trajectory towards success. And when I say smart, what I mean is specific, measurable, audacious, relevant, and time-based goals. This is how you set your goals up. Now let's go to the word to confirm what I'm saying. Starting in Luke 14:28. For which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? Lest happily after he had laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all that behold it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. And we'll move on to 31 here. It says, or what king going to make war against another king sitteth not down first and consulteth where he be able with 10,000 to meet him that cometh against him, or with 20,000? Now let's move on to step 5. You gotta find a strong why that will motivate you to do what's required to manifest your dream. Nothing can be denied the one that won't be denied. It all starts with, how bad do you want it? How bad do you want what you want? People all the time come to me and say, how do I stay motivated? What do I need to do to get motivated? I said, you don't have a motivation problem. What you have is a why problem. Once you figure out a strong enough why to do what it is you want to do, the actions will follow. You don't need something external to motivate you. You need something internal to motivate you. Another root of a lack of motivation is being out of position. Many of you are out of position doing something that God did not call you to do. You're doing something that you're not passionate about. You're doing a job for the paycheck instead of doing a job because you love it. Now see with me, let me give you an example. I don't have to listen to motivational videos to get psyched up, to get in front of this mic to speak to y'all. I love it. I have so much fire on the inside of me, so much truth waiting to be expressed. I cannot wait every week to get in front of this microphone. See, I know and have full revelation of who I am. I am a motivational speaker, anointed to speak. I know my legacy, which is to set the world on fire with truth. I know my outcome, to impact lives daily, to get up every day and make a difference. I know my goal, to speak fire, wrapped in truth, and deliver it in an artistic way through these videos to reach 1 billion people. I don't speak these messages from the mind, from the mouth, or even from the heart. I speak them from the spirit. I'm not doing this to get validation, likes, or views, or subscribers, or ad revenue. I'm doing this to change the world. My goal is not to be good at this. My goal is to be the greatest that's ever done it. Now, I'm not talking about a competition like me against other speakers. That is not what I'm talking about. I am talking about the standard that I have put in place inside of me. I will accept nothing but the best for myself. Nothing but greatness, because greatness made me. Therefore, greatness is in me. And in everything I do, I will display the greatness of the Father that made me. When the why is greater than the obstacle ceases to exist. Step 6. Every single day, mentally visualize your outcomes becoming your new reality. Because wherever the mind goes, the body will eventually follow. Maybe your first outcome is to overcome some kind of sickness in your body. What you have to do is close your eyes and visualize your body completely healed, completely restored, completely rejuvenated, back to a state better than ever before. Now let's move to the word. Proverbs 23:7. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Your life will come directly off the assembly line of your mind. Visualize the life that you want to live every single day. Close your eyes in the morning before you get started and picture the day coming out the way you want it to be. At the end of the evening, again, visualize how you want tomorrow to be. Design, construct, build, orchestrate, compose the life that you wish to experience. The world is yours. Step 7. To making your dream a reality. This step right here is what separates the average from the greats. The average person from the highly successful. It's taking massive action. Your actions have to match the size of your dream. You gotta dream big, then let your grind do the talking. Now let's go to the word. Proverbs 10:4. A slack hand causes poverty, but the hand of the diligent makes rich. The world belongs to those who purchase her in sweat. And for those that know my work, blood, sweat, and tears are the only credit cards accepted here. Mark Cuban said, it's not about money or connections. It's the willingness to outwork and outlearn everyone. And I'll close out with this one from Emerson. He said, without ambition, one starts nothing. Without work, one finishes nothing. The prize will not be sent to you. You have to win it. Successful people only know one speed, and that's 120. Grind City, 24/7, 365, no days off. Get out there and work and go get what is yours. Step 8 to making your dream a reality. Find great mentors and spiritual partners to hold you accountable. The people you partner with, your counsel, your inner circle, the people you associate with can make or break you. Now let's go to the word. Over and over and over, the word reiterates the importance of counsel and wisdom and surrounding yourself with the right people. Now let's start with Proverbs 28:26. Whoever trusts in his own mind is a fool, but he who walks in wisdom will be delivered. Proverbs 24:6. For by wise guidance you can wage your war. In an abundance of counselors, there is victory. If you want to go to the highest levels of success, you gotta put people around you who aren't scared to tell you the truth. You don't need a bunch of yes men and yes women saying yes to everything that you come up with. You gotta get some people around you who have failed hard and overcame, who know what it's like to be in the trenches when war jumps off, who knows how to overcome situations. You need these kind of people around you, veterans who've been there before. If you don't have these types of people around you right now, then ask God to send them for you. He will. It's His word. He just told you to be around wise counsel. So why would He not send you wise counsel? You have not because you ask not. Ask God and He will send wisdom to you. Step 9 is to align your mind and mouth with the vision. Every ounce of your being must become congruent with the dream, with the legacy, with the outcomes that you wish to accomplish. You can't be thinking one way and speaking another. The word says death and life are in the power of the tongue, and those that love it shall eat the fruits thereof. You have to water that dream with your mouth. You know, most people don't know this, but when I first started speaking and doing these YouTube videos, you know, things didn't just jump off for me. My finances were struggling, man. I was still trying to figure out who I was, and I was just discovering this whole speaking thing. And I was so angry because my outside world was not reflecting really who I was on the inside. And I was so angry at the results that life kept giving back to me. People around me were being so negative, so in death over everything that I was trying to do. I got so angry. I turned the record on and I started speaking who I was on this microphone. I was born a champion, raised a champion. I got champion in my bloodline. And you know the strangest thing happened? I put that video out and it went viral. And that video put me on the map. I started getting booked to speak all around the world. My book started selling. And it all started with my words. I spoke who I was before I became it. I did not feel like a champion at that time. My life did not reflect being a champion at that time. My finances did not look like I was a champion at that time. But I still spoke it anyway. And I spoke it with authority because on the inside, I knew who I was. I knew where I was supposed to be. I know what I was called to do on the inside. And I started to unleash it with my mouth. The panic attacks began to subside. And all the fear inside me died. The faith arose in me. The fire was ignited in me. With my mind, I distorted reality until the dreams that I was dreaming bowed to me. The words you speak set outcomes in motion. See, your mouth is a creative device, strategically designed to call forth the fruit of truth. If you don't like your life, you can change it by the words you use. Think like a champion. Speak like a champion. Walk like a champion. And the world will be yours. Step 10, the final step to making your dreams a reality is to keep the vision, the dream in front of you at all times. Let's start with the word. Philippians 3:13 says, "Brethren, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do, forgetting those things which are behind and reaching forth into those things which are before. I press toward the mark for the prize of the high calling of God in Christ Jesus." You gotta get your mind out of the past and back to the now and start looking toward the future that you want to build. It's not what you've done or the mistakes that you made. It's what you're moving toward and what you're gonna be. That's the only thing that God is interested in. Where are you going? What is it that you want? Keep your eyes on that at all times. You gotta make your dream so big in your mind that it has no other place to go except into reality. Fill up every second of your time with success. Either reading, speaking, thinking, walking, doing, whatever it is. It's all focused on building your legacy, your outcomes, achieving your goals. You gotta be so consumed and full of these things that failure has no place to come into your life. Now hear me out. Those who don't know who they are will be vulnerable to being defined by the world. Decide on who you want to be. Name yourself before the world does. Fire, truth, music. I'm Billy Allsbrooks, and I am blessed and unstoppable. And to God be the glory. I love you all. Dream big, for with God, all things are possible.
I wish I had not waited 14 years. Somebody said if you want to lose something, lose money. You can get that back. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. Walt Disney filed bankruptcy 7 times and had 2 nervous breakdowns. But don't lose time. There were 14 years I sat on the sideline. 14 years I said, I don't have an investor in me like Tony Robbins. 14 years that said, I don't have an MBA or a PhD, and I can't compete with these guys. I have the complexion of rejection. 14 years I silenced myself. Wow. And so I regret that, because there's some people that maybe if they'd heard my voice, they would not have turned to drugs. If they'd heard my voice, their lives would have taken a different direction. And I can't get those 14 years back. That haunts me, and I think that drives me when I speak with such energy. I'm trying to make up for that time, but I can't.
A time of great uncertainty and a time of change that's taking place around the world, and a time when people are feeling a great deal of anxiety and fear and reservations about the future, at a time when people are going to work and don't know whether or not they will have a job when they get off, and not necessarily because of their performance, but because of what's happening in the economy. At a time when there are challenges, more so than ever before, in personal relationships. We look at what's happening on the crime level and what's happening with our youth. That many times I'm sure that we've all taken time just to stop and reflect. Many times when we hear what's happening in the news or read the newspapers, where's all of this leading to? What's going on here? And so I think that now more than ever, we must begin to look at what are the things that we can do that would put us on some firm footing in life, that will enable us to do some things and use some powers that we have, that many of us go through life never ever discovering that we have those things going for us. And part of that, I believe, is knowing what it is your life worth. What is it that gives your life a sense of meaning and purpose? Because once you find that, it puts you in your power place. See, if you know what your life work is, I encourage you to start working on it. If you can't do it all at one time, do just a little bit of it. And if you don't know what it is that you showed up to do, if you don't know why you're here, I encourage you to find out what your purpose is here. What is the meaning of your life? What will be different? Have you ever asked yourself that question? I've done that. I remember coming from a friend of mine's funeral, and I was reflecting on how much time I had left. And I went for a walk in a park thinking about this guy whose life was so promising. And I mean, he wasn't an old guy. He was quite young, in fact. And I thought about all of the things that he said he was going to do, and he never got a chance to do those things. And I started thinking about my own life and how much time I had left to do the things that I would like to do. And at that time, I wasn't sure what my life purpose was, what my life's work was. I wasn't sure about it at that time. And I thought about it quite a lot. I had some idea, but I wasn't convinced. That I don't think I felt worthy. I didn't believe that it could be me to do this kind of work that I'm doing right now. And I say to you that if you begin to take a conscious effort to find out what it is that you're supposed to do, I say that it can literally save your life. I said that it can literally save your life. I was telling a group of people of a study that was conducted. Dr. Larry Darcy, who wrote a book called Recovering the Soul, he said, human beings are the only living species that has achieved the dubious distinction of dying or having a stroke or a heart attack on a certain day. If you ask most people, what would you say the primary cause of why people will have a heart attack or stroke. Many people will say, well, because they smoke cigarettes, or because of high cholesterol, or because of stress, or because of obesity, and all of those things are contributing factors. But ladies and gentlemen, more heart attacks take place in this country on Monday morning between 8 and 9 a.m. That's when the majority of people who have their first heart attacks have them. 85% of the American public, according to recent studies, are going to jobs that they hate, working on jobs that do not challenge them. They get sick thinking about going. Migraine headaches. After the Sunday afternoon football game or 60 minutes, the anxiety began to build. And come Monday morning, they drop dead of a broken heart. Some of you ought to think about not going to work on Monday. Think about that. People are literally dying to go to work. Because, see, when you go to a job and you already know how far you can go, you can already see that proverbial glass ceiling. It's like going to a movie when you've gone in the middle of the movie. And you've seen the end, and you sit there to start all over again, but something is missing. You know what the outcome is going to be. You can't get excited about going through that movie all over again. Am I correct? See, when you're going someplace and you already know how much you're going to make, you already know how far you can go, you're in a dead-end position. It erodes your self-esteem. It lowers your sense of yourself. It creates an inner turmoil. It creates an emptiness in you. So I say that your life is worth finding what it is that you're supposed to do. And I'm not saying quit your job. I'm saying find it and do just a little bit of it. When I wanted to become involved in speaking, I started just learning quotes, listening to other people's tapes, going to seminars, going to workshops, asking other people to help me. Just start working at it just a little bit, but do find out what your work is and hold on to it, and don't let your dream go. Don't let it go. See, and here's something else I want you to begin to look at. Why is it that most people don't pursue their dreams or don't do better than what they're doing if they're capable of doing it? I think that many of us don't go the next step because we don't know what to do yet. And I say that the reason that we don't even explore the possibility of what to do is because subconsciously we don't believe that it can happen for us, and we don't believe that we deserve it. So here's what I'm suggesting. How much time do you spend working on you? How much time do you spend every day working on your dream? In the last 90 days, how many books have you read? In the last year, what new skill or knowledge have you acquired? What kind of investment have you made in you? So I'm saying that as you begin to look at where you want to go, if you want to make it today, and things are changing so fast, you have to literally run to stand still. I'm saying that you've got to make some conscious effort to begin to work to develop you. Here's something else. Most people are not living their dreams because of fear, ladies and gentlemen. I was in Columbus, Ohio yesterday speaking for a particular Ohio department. Young lady named Karen who greeted me, who organized the event. Very talented, very skillful. And she was talking about she wanted to become involved in the consulting business. I said, why aren't you doing it? I said, you have the abilities. I said, you're not here because they like you. You're here because you're doing the job. You're making things happen. And she came up with all kind of ideas, but finally she said, I guess I can't see myself doing it. I guess I'm afraid. Fear, limited vision, and lack of self-esteem is what keeps most people doing things they don't want to do. I flew from Columbus, Ohio to Denver, Colorado to a major communications company, and the person that picked me up at the airport told me about the fact that the company was planning on having a major downsizing, and they offered some of the employees there an early retirement, and some of them will earn as much as $300,000. And they said, this is the last time that you can take this offer. If you don't do it, when we have the downsizing, you might be among those who will lose their jobs, and all you will get is your severance pay. And only 50% of the people who were eligible to take the $300,000 took it. The others were afraid to take a chance on themselves. The others couldn't see themselves beyond that company. They couldn't see life after that company. The same reason that people stay in relationships where they're abused or they're unhappy or it's unfulfilling. They can't see themselves beyond that relationship. They can't see themselves enjoying life without that person. They think that this is all that they can do. The same reason that people get stuck at a certain level in life. They can't see things being better for them. And they think that this is it and this is all they deserve. This is all they've ever seen. It's been passed on to them. And they think that this is it for them. Oh, no. I was looking what Dr. Blanton, Smiley Blanton, who is a colleague of Dr. Norman Vincent Peale, what he said about fear. He said, fear is the most subtle and destructive of all human diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, fear kills dreams. Fear kills hope. Fear put people in the hospital. Fear can age you. Fear, ladies and gentlemen, can hold you back from doing something that you know within yourself that you're capable of doing, but it will paralyze you. And it seemed like you're in a hypnotic spell. And I asked you a question, what is the benefit? What's the benefit of allowing fear to hold you back? What's the benefit of giving up on yourself? Of not stepping out on life and taking life on? What is the benefit for you? What's the plus in that? It's one of the things I had to ask myself. So I didn't want to make any mistakes. I wanted everybody to like me. I wanted to be perfect the first time I did something. It's not going to happen. You're going to make some mistakes. You're going to hurt some folks' feelings. You're going to create some enemies whenever you decide that you want to begin to take life on. You've got to ask yourself, how long am I going to allow this to hold me back? I like what Zig Ziglar says. He said, fear is false evidence appearing real. That is an illusion that we create in our mind. It is a state of mind that can be changed. So let's look at how we can begin to take some steps to restructure that fear, to begin to expand our visions of ourselves, to begin to increase our self-esteem. Webster said that self-esteem means confidence and satisfaction in oneself. Look at your life right now. Whatever you've done up to this point in time, your life is working. Whatever you have produced, it came out of you as a result of the kind of person that you have become. It's a result of your choices. It's a result of your consciousness. Now you have to ask yourself, are you satisfied with what you have produced? Is this what you want? Would you like for things to be better than this? Do you believe that you deserve better than this? Or are you content? This is it. You don't have to do anything else. That you'll already resign yourself in life and say, well, I'm happy. I'm not starving like the people in Calcutta. Are you allowing yourself to get off the hook like that? Or do you believe somewhere in the back of your mind or in your heart that there's some other great work for you to do? There's something else that life has for you. And that's why you're here. How do we handle this fear factor? How do we increase our self-esteem? You have to begin to fortify yourself. How do we do that? I believe that you have to begin to consciously monitor your inner conversation and start talking to yourself. Start building yourself up. Sometimes the only good things you will hear about you are the things that you say to you. Young lady that was in the audience this afternoon said to me, I told myself yesterday for the first time, I'm proud of me. And she said, I felt good about that. So I'm saying learn to be your own booster. Start building yourself up. Start encouraging yourself. Start saying, I can do this. I can make this happen. When I started thinking about becoming a speaker, I said, yes, I can do this. I can make this happen. When I start trying to convince myself I can be a businessman after flopping and failing and losing thousands of dollars and feeling stupid and dumb and having people take advantage of me because of what I didn't know. I had to talk to myself because people were saying to me that I was dumb. And somewhere in the back of my mind, I was saying, you're right. Look at what I've done. I had to say, no, Les. Hey, come on, man. Get yourself together. You can handle this. You just haven't figured it out yet. It's all right. This is your training period. This is the tuition you have to pay for what you don't know. You can do this. Other people have done it. It doesn't take an Einstein. Get you some people that can teach you some stuff that you don't know. Get you some people that have done it successfully and learn from them. Take some seminars, workshops, read some books on how to manage a business. Change the way you see yourself and begin to tend to the personal details. Understand that nobody's going to take care of your business better than you. And when I start changing that kind of mindset of beating myself up because of my mistakes and start looking at the possibility of my doing better, of my making the adjustment that would enable me to do what I want to do successfully, things begin to change. And I'm saying stop beating up on yourself. You do it. I know you do it. I've done it. It's a natural inclination for us to put ourselves down. See, we are born negative, I think, in a negative consciousness because we live in a negative world. See, you don't have to teach children to lie. They'll lie automatically. Did you wet in your pants? No, I did not. Well, what is that? I don't know. You don't have to encourage kids to misbehave. They will do it by themselves. You don't have to encourage them to do the wrong thing. They will do it automatically. You have to correct their behavior. So I'm saying that we have to work through the challenges of life in learning how to begin to work to fortify ourselves. Repeat after me, please. I can live my dream. I can find my purpose in life. And live my purpose. I deserve more from myself. I deserve more from life. Shake somebody's hand on your right and left and say, you deserve more from life too. Here's some other things, ladies and gentlemen. Begin to guard your mind against negative programming. Like turn off the television. Don't watch the news. Don't watch it. I think that more people have a sense of hopelessness and anxiety about life. If you look at the news, you cannot feel good looking at the news. You'll be scared to death. You're scared to go to sleep. I mean, it turns your power down. You've got to be conscious of that. Don't pick up the newspaper and read it. No. Just try this. Just experiment with yourself. Now, if your job depends upon you knowing certain things, let somebody tell you just about those things. But start filtering the stuff you allow to come in your mind. You know that song you used to say, don't let nobody bring you no bad news. I tell my staff, look here, don't tell me any bad news while I'm on the road. Let me handle it tomorrow. I don't like anybody to tell me any bad news at night before I go to sleep. I can't do anything about it anyhow. Why let me go to sleep with that on my consciousness? No, and my staff, they know that. Say, let it wait till tomorrow. And I have a period of time. Tell me bad news between 10 o'clock and 12 noon. After I prayed and meditated and read my books, I'm fortified, I'm ready to handle it. I deal with it, and I'm out of there, and I'm going on to something else. So you've got to guard the kinds of things that you put in your mind. See, if you don't program your mind will be programmed because human beings are goal-oriented. That's why we die of broken hearts early. That's why we're running through life to early graves. We're going through life, ladies and gentlemen. And I think that Henry David Thoreau said that most men live in quiet desperation. Most of us go through life running scared. Larry DeAndre, who I think is going to be one of the greatest motivational speakers around today, told me a story, a true story of a friend of his, that every day when he came home from school, when he would get to a certain block in his neighborhood, there was a neighborhood dog that would chase him. And that dog would start after him barking. Boy, he would run, just running from that dog every day, every day. Finally, he just got tired of that dog chasing him every day. He said, this dog come around here today, I'm going to take a brick or something and bust him in the head. So he was walking home that day, minding his own business. Sure enough, same area, there was that dog there. And the dog started barking, he started running, he saw a brick, and he stopped and picked up the brick and turned around, and the dog got close to him. He realized the dog didn't have any teeth. He said he put the brick down and said, get on out my way. And ladies and gentlemen, all our lives, many of us go through life running from things that ain't got no teeth to do us any harm. Haven't you been afraid to do something and then after you did it, you say, whoa, if I'd known it was this easy, I would have done it before. Haven't you ever had that experience? Raise your hand. Absolutely. So we created this in our minds, false evidence appearing real. We made it real in our minds. That's why Churchill said there's nothing to fear but fear itself. That's the destructive monster. So turn off things that can contribute to your fear. Turn a deaf ear to people that all they can do is talk about how negative things are because they have bought into the consciousness of the world. Start attending workshops, seminars, listening to tapes on a daily basis to begin to recondition your mind, to retrain your thinking. Faith comes by what? Hearing and hearing and hearing. Listen to things that can empower you, that can enable you to create a new reality for yourself and a new life for yourself. You might appear to be strange around most people. You know, most people think you're strange if you're happy today. People say, how you doing? I said, better than good. Whoa, what's wrong with him? Just go around smiling and watch people. Look at this. Is this a weird guy over here? Because most people don't smile. Watch them. Look at their faces in the morning. Here we go, another Monday morning. How you doing? Haven't had my coffee yet. Don't ask me. See, these people have not found their purpose in life. That's why they're grumpy. That's why they're miserable. That's why they're so negative. They're hurting and they want to hurt other people. So start practicing using programs for your mind. Seminars, books, workshops. Keep a journal. Record your thoughts. What's happening with you? Every day when you get up, have a journal near you. I use the Jack Boland journal so that I can write down my ideas. I keep it by my bed so I can write down my thoughts. See, ladies and gentlemen, we get 3 to 4 thoughts a year that if we would act on those thoughts, they could change our life. Don't say, well, I'll remember that. No, write that thought down. I got a thought today I wrote down. A friend of mine is in the hospital. His morale is low. They're talking about amputating his foot. He's got to feel very bad. So I said, you know, not only am I going to see him, but I can't be there with him all the time. I said, I'm going to create a tape for him that he can listen to that will heighten his level of morale. We told him the other night, don't go to surgery. You are depressed. Your energy level is down. No, tell him not now. Don't do it now. In fact, most doctors who have any sense of awareness don't perform surgery on patients that are in a state of fear, that don't think they will make it. They wait till they're in a different state of mind. So I said, what about making tapes for people that are facing physical challenges? I said, that's a good idea. All right? See, there are ideas that can come to you out of things that appear to be negative. I have a friend out of Chicago, just met him. He was 23 years old. And this guy, he went financially bankrupt 2 years ago, ruined his credit. Guess what he decided to do? He found a blessing in it. He wanted to restore his credit. It was very challenging, very difficult. And he realized that a lot of other people during these particular times have ruined their credit. So now he started a credit repair business. Last year he earned over $100,000 helping people to restore their credit. I met a young lady who attends this church, that she was at her father's funeral and she was putting flowers on her father's grave, and she looked around and saw the other grave sites. They did not look well groomed and they were not attended to on a regular basis. She started a grave site maintenance business. Out of that tragedy, something positive has come out of it. And now she's earning more money doing that than on her present job. What idea are you sitting on? Write your ideas down. And then, once you get that idea, take the leap. Hello? Take the leap. See, a lot of people get the ideas and just walk around with them. Have you ever had an idea and all of a sudden you looked around and somebody had that idea and gone with it? Think you're going to be going with my hospital idea. Forget that, buddy. We will be out there together, Jack. Take the leap. See, it's out here in the universe. If you don't take the plunge, I guarantee you, somebody else will. Take the plunge. Go into action. And ladies and gentlemen, you will be surprised at how things will come together. You'll be surprised. Now, you're going to have some difficult challenges. I can tell you that now. Be aware of that. Things are not going to work out exactly right. For a time they will, sometimes. And that's when life is just playing a game with you. I want you to feel good and relax. And then after a while, say, okay, the honeymoon's over now. And then life will come over there and slap you side the head. Say, what you doing out here? Well, this is my dream life. Is that right? Come over here a minute. Oh, you went to the seminar, huh? Come here. I can tell you that. But ladies and gentlemen, go into action with your dream. And don't avoid where the fights are. Get in the midst of the fight. And get some hickeys on your head. Get knocked down so you can learn how to fight, so you can hold your position. See, most people don't get out in the arena of life because they don't want to fight. Most people don't get out there because they don't want to get knocked down. They don't want to be dropped to their knees. But see, you're going to be dropped whether you're on the field or whether or not you're sitting on the sidelines. You're going to be dropped. So at least get dropped for something. Don't get knocked down while you're sitting down. See, that's how most people are spectators in life. You don't want to be a spectator. You want to get out in the field where the action is. And you will be amazed. After the struggle, there will be a calm period and things will begin to click for you. Come out here with what you got. You don't have enough money? Don't worry about it. You got the dream. You got the idea. You don't have enough resources? Don't worry about it. You need some help? Don't worry about it. You get out here in the arena, someone will look at you and become inspired and say, hey, can I help you? But if you're sitting up on the bleachers, nobody's going to ask you anything. You've got to get into the flow of action. Frances Harth called me from Chicago. She had been sitting on an idea of a show that she wanted to produce for 10 years called Mind-Body Connection. So someone saw me speaking in Chicago at a sorority convention and said, I saw a guy that perhaps can host this show for you who has energy and charisma. She called me. She was so fired up. I said, listen, on the day that you want to do that, I'm speaking in Chicago. I can do it for you. And I said, by the way, I met somebody 2 weeks ago in Baltimore who has an idea of the same type of show, and she's doing it on radio. Why don't you call her? And then she called me back. Who else would you suggest? I said, well, I know Deepak Chopra. He wrote the book called Quantum Healing, and Bernie Siegel. Could you get his number? I tell you what, I have a friend named Jack Boland at the Church of the Day. He knows how to get in touch with him. Call him, and he will give you the number so you can get in touch with Bernie Siegel. That lady started calling all around. Did not have the resources, but she had this idea and dream. And she said the other night when she came before the audience that had gathered in the studio, she said, I feel like I've been pregnant for 10 years. And tonight you're going to witness a beautiful delivery. And it was. She said, I couldn't believe, Les, how things began to happen, how it all began to come together. And how many of you ever started on some dream and you didn't have all your stuff together, but you just went out there with nothing but faith, and things began to happen for you? Raise your hand if you know what I'm talking about. Ladies and gentlemen, those hands up there, it's proof. The proof is in the pudding. These people have demonstrated it. And if they can do it, you can do it.
I believe every single one of us has genius within us. I believe every single one of us has this brilliance longing to see the light of the day. I believe every single person on the planet has a mighty mission and is available for a magnificent obsession in their own original way.
Now, is there an exact formula for this? Well, not exactly, but there are certain principles and disciplines and actions that anybody can do. And when they're combined in the right order, they add up to a success system that never fails. You can use these principles and disciplines to jumpstart your success and help you attract more of what you want in your life.
Every day in your life, you got to weed the negative and you got to fertilize the positive.
I think a winner is somebody who gets up every single day and fights the fight against doubt, fights the fight against fear, fights the fight against laziness and procrastination, and forces themselves to do the work so that they can become a better person, so that they can see their dreams come true, and so that they can astonish themselves.
If you're waking up every day and you're not taking steps to be the CEO of your own life and managing your day and running your own life, you're going to be an employee. It's going to run you back, and it will. And there's days I've woken up and gone through the motions, and sure as death and taxes, something comes up, and because I wasn't in the right mindset, it took control. It ran my day.
Live your best life. Attack the world. Enjoy the journey. Starting now, from today forward, be changed and charge it. Go out and make it happen. Every day, get up and live, learn, love, and laugh. And go out and go for it. Seize your future. Seize your destiny. And live the life you deserve.
You win at life when you do the work that makes you feel uncomfortable. We look at winners all the time. We celebrate our greatest heroes in business and in sports because of their outcomes, but the fact is, nobody stops and thinks about the fact that those champions, those winners, spent 10, 20, 30 years getting up day in and day out and doing the work. So a winner is somebody that wakes up every morning, pushes themselves out that bed, and does the work to become a better person.
You got to get up early. You got to make a list. You got to show up with a great attitude, and you got to get it done.
Getting up in the morning and setting your priorities is very important. If you don't fill your day with high priority things that mean everything to you, that inspire you, your life will fill up with low priority distractions that don't. You got to give yourself permission to be the most magnificent you can possibly be. I wonder what would happen if you sat down and actually prioritized your life every day, and then went after the most important things and filled your day that way.
And every day, if you wake up and you don't take control of your day and you don't dominate the day as best you can start to finish, life is going to own you. You know, if you're waking up with a negative attitude, you have to be able to step back and self-assess. Why am I in a bad mood? And you have to work from that minute forward to build that tool in your belt, if you will, to be able to assess it, address it, apply it, if you will, and then move forward. If you can do that, I'll tell you, life gets exponentially easier and easier and easier every day. And before you know it, you're working with greater efficiency, more confidence, more determination, and you set yourself on a path to truly self-generate success. But more importantly, you're happy.
I have a simple exercise I give everybody, and some people say, oh, that's so stupid, it's so silly. But I ask them to look in the mirror, especially first thing in the morning, and just look in their eyes and say their name and say, I love you. I really, really love you. And this is enormously hard for most people to do to begin with. But as you continue to do it, it makes a big difference. You see, life loves you. Life really loves you. But if you don't love yourself, it's very hard for life to bring you the goodies because you've got this wall up.
What I do every day, the fact that it makes me mentally stronger, the fact that I literally push myself to the point of, you know, being physically ill. When you do that, when you're starting your day at 4:30 in the morning, whatever, do that, the rest of your day, no matter what happens, is a breeze. You've tackled the hardest part of your day. No matter what goes on, you have the confidence and you have the wherewithal, the tool belt, if you will, to be able to attack. Sometimes it's just showing up and being able to push yourself a little bit more than yesterday.
If you're not happy today, start acting happy. Act the way you want to feel, and soon you'll feel the way you act. Go out and make it happen in your life.
Why not do what you really love every day? I don't mean necessarily the things that are small, little things. I'm talking about giving yourself permission to make the difference that you want in life and do the things that are service to others as well as rewarding to you.
So we live in a world that we want to be as comfortable as we can. And we wonder why we have no growth. We wonder why when the smallest thing in our life gets difficult, we wonder why we cower and we run away. Because we are kind of living our whole life is set that way. Our whole life is set up in the path of least resistance. We don't want to suffer. We don't want to feel discomfort. So the whole time we're living our lives in a very comfortable area. There's no growth in that.
If you find something that you love to do, then when Monday comes along, you're not going, Monday. You're like, Monday, I get to act.
I want you to burn into your nervous system the following statement, because it is a fundamental truth of the human condition. It is literally the baseline physics of what it means to be a person. As Earl Nightingale said, we become what we think about. And that's an idea that I want you to hold firmly in your mind. That's something that I really want you to internalize. I really want you to stop right now. Whatever you're doing, I want you to stop, lean into this video and listen to what I'm saying. You will become what you think about. Really think about that for a second, as if it wasn't just a phrase, as if it's more than just words, as if it were a truth about how the brain works, because it is. You're going to become the thing that you think about. And I know that you're dwelling on a lot of negative shit. I know that you're carrying a lot of baggage with you. And I know that as you think about how things might go wrong, that you believe to the core of your being that you're just planning for the hard times. But the truth is, you're going to become those things that you fear. You're going to become the things that you dread. If you're thinking about all the things that you've done wrong in the past, you are going to simply continue that cycle. But if, on the other hand, and let this be true, let this ring in your ears with the weight of everything that I carry, if I've ever added an ounce of value to you, if anything I have ever said has seemed remotely true, believe that these are the most important words I'm ever going to say to you. If you begin to focus on positive things, if you begin to focus on your capabilities, if you begin to focus on the potential that you have, if you really dig in, build those skills, drive towards something beautiful, something amazing, something that leaves you in awe, that you want to create, that you want to become the vessel for that, then you will become that thing, because you will take those steps, because you become what you think about. And as Mark Twain said, 20 years from now, you'll be more disappointed by the things that you didn't do. So if you don't take those steps, if you don't focus on those things, if you don't manifest what you want to become, if you don't believe in it, if you don't see how real it could be, if you can't picture the version of yourself that you want to become, and even though people have told you that it's not possible for you, that the things you did in the past are never going to allow you to do that, that you're not smart enough, if you let that creep into your mind, then that's what's going to happen. But if you can see that vision, if you can allow yourself to believe it, then you're going to take the steps that you need to execute against that. And if you go out there and do those things, you won't regret it, but you will regret it if you don't. So get out right now and build the person you want to be so you can have the life you want to have.
A lot of people always asking themselves, what can I do to be happy?
do everything you can to set up habits and take care of your mind in such a way that you generate more happiness.
No matter who you are, what walk of life you're in, number one, you have to own your own happiness. Take it away from other people demanding that they make you happy.
Happy, beautiful people. You've heard it, right? We're to be vibrant people. We're to be happy people. We're to be joyous people. But that doesn't happen by itself. What we have to do is we have to try. And the reason we have to try is because life gets in the way.
All of us have within us this amazing capacity to manifest and attract anything that we want into our life.
You're a seed. You are full of gifts, talents, potential. But if you plant yourself in unhealthy soil, if you hang around friends that compromise and pull you down, if you're in an environment that's limited with people that tell you what you can't become, you won't see the growth that you should.
You are love. You are divine. Put that into your imagination. I am well. I am happy. I am content. I am fulfilled. Even if your senses tell you that you're depressed.
I have the power. I have the power to make this happen. I have the power to create this. I have the power to attract this. I have the power to save my relationship. I have the power to build an unstoppable business that serves people all over the world. I have the power to write my next book or my first book.
So by placing into your imagination what you want and assuming the feeling of that wish as already fulfilled, you go through your life feeling that. When enough of us do that, we will transform this planet. I'm telling you, it can be done.
When you know you can, you escape the prison of limiting beliefs. When you know you can, you reclaim your power, your joy, and your freedom. As you free yourself from the prison of limiting beliefs by choosing empowering beliefs, you truly can be and do and have whatever you desire.
Your personality creates your personal reality. That's it. It's that simple. And your personality is made up of how you think, how you act, and how you feel.
What you think and what you believe is what will come true for you. Your thoughts create your life. It's that simple. And when we can get that, we can make enormous changes.
You're not supposed to go around solemn, serious all the time, burdened down by problems. Taking time to laugh, to have fun, that re-energizes you. It helps keep you in balance. If it's all work, all stress, all dealing with problems, that's going to weigh you down.
You need to start giving the vocabulary of happy to your families. You have to start giving the vocabulary of happy to your teams.
But too often, we used to laugh when we were dating. We used to have fun. We used to enjoy each other. But now we've let the pressures of life cause us to become more solemn. We don't have time to laugh. We have bills to pay. We have children to raise. We're dealing with problems. We don't see eye to eye on every situation. But the joy is what's going to help you get through the tough times. Laughing together, having fun, that's going to help keep you together.
You have a life that's better than 95% of the people on this planet. Most of the people on this planet do not have the luxury that you have right now to watch somebody on a video on YouTube and be able to benefit from that and receive information that could actually improve and better your life. Most people don't have that luxury. Most people do not have a freaking computer and the internet where you can have access to this. Most people don't have the chair, the roof that you have over your head right now.
Too many of you are sitting around waiting to feel ready. You can still move forward when you're not ready. Too many of you are waiting to feel like you deserve to make 6 figures. It's about the action. Your mind, your history, your past, you will always have a million excuses not to do it, not to feel like it, not to believe in yourself.
You are a master creator, constantly creating your life in exact accord with your thoughts and feelings. You are an external being worthy of anything and everything you desire.
If you wanted to create a new personal reality, that on a fundamental level you would have to change the thoughts that you are thinking, the behaviors and habits that you're demonstrating, and the emotions that you've memorized that's become part of your identity. And most people try to create a new personal reality as the same personality, and it never works. We have to become somebody else.
Did you live your life? Not someone else's life, not the parent's life, not your spouse's life, not your team's life, not your obligations life. Did you live your life? Because you got one shot at it, so did you show up and do well?
Friends, don't let one disappointment, one loss, one bad break cause you to settle. We all go through things we don't understand. Life doesn't always make sense. The key is you have to pass through the place of your greatest pain.
If you get knocked down, bounce up. If somebody next to you gets knocked down, help them up. Look inside yourself and find that desire. Go win big.
Because we're always looking back, reliving the negative, we end up carrying around all this baggage that weighs us down. One of the best things we can learn to do is drop it. Let it go. The best part of your life is right up in front of you.
It's a beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you. The smile is on and no worries are gone. Beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you. The smile is on and no worries are gone.
You have within you what it'll take for you to go do something great in your life. But you got to get yourself in a positive cocoon where you make some fundamental decisions in your life. You're a force of nature. You're somebody great. You were put on this earth to make a difference.
And I'm telling you that the way that you were made, the way that you are now, is beautiful or handsome, and that you're enough. And that once you can finally acknowledge the fact that you're enough, that you're beautiful and gifted and special and made in the image of this higher place, right? That once you can acknowledge that, you're going to be very, very happy. All your confidence, all your happiness, all the things you want to achieve in your life come from when you understand that you are made perfect the way you are. Doesn't mean we don't want to improve things in our life and chase the next version of us and all that, but the you that exists now is enough, and that you have everything within you right now to make your dreams happen, to be happy.
Seize the moment, enjoy the moment, minister in the moment, do it now. Don't somehow think that tomorrow is going to be the time when you go.
I walk on the street. All people are passing by. It's a great day. Nobody even cares that I've got a big smile on my side. I talk to myself. Is it true that we all must cry? 'Cause a great day, you shouldn't even care, 'cause you have a big smile on your side. It's a beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you. The smile is on and no worries are gone. Beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you. The smile is on and no worries are gone.
First thing in the morning and last thing in the evening, I want you to look into your eyes and say, I love you. I really love you, and I accept you exactly as you are. It can be tough at first, but if you stick with it,
in a short time, this affirmation will be true for you.
We even have to remove at some point, sometimes, our own stupid thoughts, our own bad actions, our own poor habits. And we have to start with the fact that whether you call it the universe, luck, chance, God, evolution, spirit, whatever you call it, you've been blessed with breath. That you are alive right now, the odds of that is so extraordinarily rare that I really believe loving ourselves starts from a place of reverence for life.
This is a good day. This is a new beginning.
It's a great day. Nobody even cares that I've got a big smile on my side. It's a beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you. The smile is on and the worries are gone. Beautiful day while you're singing. Nothing matters to you.
As you look at your goals and dreams, and I want you to expand them, and it's very important to realize that I found that most people fail in life, not because they aim too high and miss. Most people fail in life because they did just like I did for so many years. They aimed too low and hit. They didn't believe in themselves. So I want you right now, as we begin to think about the lessons and all the things that you've experienced and all of the comments and stories and strategies and lessons that you've had, I think it's time to revisit and look at your goals and dreams, and let's raise the bar. I remember as a kid, we would be in the backyard and we would play jump, and somebody would get on one side of the stick, my sister and then my brother, we would run and we'd jump over it. And then they say, raise it up a little bit higher. We have to back up and we run and we'd jump over it again. And then we say, raise it up a little higher. And the higher it got, we had to begin to change our approach and how we're going to get over the bar. And that's the same thing in life. And so right now, I want you to think about your goals and dreams. As you begin to raise them a little higher, and I want you to say with me, it's possible. It's possible. You know, the easiest thing that I do is speak and train people how to speak. Go into prisons and juvenile detention centers, into high schools and colleges. Speak before thousands of people. I can do that in my sleep. Let me share with you the most difficult thing I've ever done in my life. And it took me years to do. And that was to believe that it was possible. To believe that I can do it. Given my circumstances, born in an abandoned building on a floor, being adopted, being labeled educable mentally retarded, failing twice in school, no college training, never worked for a major corporation. To believe that I had something of value to say, that somebody would want to listen to me, to believe that somebody would pay me to talk to them. Have you ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? I remember going to see Zig Ziglar, who I consider the #1 motivational speaker on the planet, and Dr. Norman Vincent Peale when he was alive, and Robert Schuller. I used to see them and I would be so pumped up and inspired after hearing Jim Rohn, who recently passed, one of the great motivational speakers of all time, and Charlie Tremendous Jones. And I would go to my car pumped up, saying, yes, 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 I can. And then after a while, my mental conditioning would kick in. And I would say, Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't have a college education. Les Brown, you can't do that. You don't even know who your parents are. Les Brown, you can't do that. You failed twice in school. Come on. Ever thought about something you wanted to do and you talk yourself out of it? There's a proverb that says, if there's no enemy within, the enemy outside can do us no harm. That's why it's important that you make it a point every day to review these lessons, to get them deep, not only in the conscious mind, but the subconscious mind, and get them in your spirit. Well, how often should I do it? Do it until you are producing the results. That's how often you should do it. And you never stop, because once you stop, that's when those negative thoughts will come back. Once you stop, that's when you will begin to doubt yourself. Once you stop, I'm telling you what I know. Yes. Every day, it's a selling job on you. It's possible. I can do this. I can make this happen. No matter how bad it is or how bad it gets, I'm going to make it. It's possible. Yes, your dream is possible. Say that to yourself every day. Feed your mind with words that you write and words that you hear and words that you speak to yourself. Feed your faith and your doubts will starve to death. Say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. It's possible. Even when you have no evidence to point to, say to yourself, it's possible. There's nothing as powerful as a made-up mind. It's a struggle sometimes to do that, especially when you have people around you telling you that it's not possible, that you can't do it. And they're constantly pointing out your failures of the past, constantly reminding you of all of the things that you don't have going for you. I'm reminded of the story of the two little boys that were playing on some ice during the winter. And as they got further out on this ice, one fell through the thin ice. And so the little fellow that was still on top of the ice, he was trying to save his little buddy. And he couldn't reach him. He was trying to pull him. He could see him through the thin ice as he got further away from him, struggling. And he couldn't reach him, and he's trying to break the ice, and he couldn't do it. And he looked around, and he saw a tree in the distance, and he ran, and he got up on the tree, and he pulled and broke down an enormous-sized branch, and came back and savagely began to beat that ice, and broke it, and miraculously, he saved his friend. And when the paramedics came, and they were able to revive this little boy, they were scratching their heads. They're trying to figure this out. Said, how could this little pruny fellow go up in a tree and break off a branch this size and then come back and beat and break the ice and save his friend? They thought it was just miraculous. It was baffling. And an old guy who was there said, I can tell you how he did it. And they said, how? How did he do it? And he said, there was no one here to tell him. What could you do? What could I do? What could all of us do if we did not have the naysayers in our lives? That we believe naively like that little boy that it was possible. What would you do if failure was not on the table? Do you realize that 87% of people allow the fear of failure to outweigh their desire to succeed because they've been convinced by the evidence, by being practical, by being logical, by being realistic. I did that. Leslie, yes? You're going to speak for corporations? Yes. Leslie, do they have a college education? Yes. Do you? Wesley, you know that I don't have a college education. Leslie, are these people experienced? Yes. Are there people with PhDs and MBAs that they could choose rather than choose you? Yes. So you don't have a college education. You have no experience. You're talking about becoming a speaker, and they're going to reach over people with PhDs and MBAs and years of experience and choose you. Are you being realistic? Come on, Leslie. Come on, Leslie. You can't do this. My brother, he's a wonderful person. And he constantly reminded me that I couldn't do what I'm doing now. But that really wasn't the bad part. The real bad part was I convinced myself that I couldn't do it. Not only because of those things that he pointed out, being practical and realistic, but also that within myself, I didn't believe what Mike Williams, my mentor, said was possible for me. Have you ever had somebody who believed and saw something for you that you didn't see for yourself? And here's how I escaped that. I discovered that sometimes you have to believe in somebody's belief in you until your belief kicks in. So here's what I am believing for you. The goals that you right now have, the things that you have envisioned for yourself, this is a reflection, what you've done thus far and what you are engaged in doing. It's what's possible for you right now. But there's even more. You don't even know what's in the future. Eye has not seen, ear has not heard. if you believe in yourself, if you constantly remind yourself after every defeat, after every setback, every time you get knocked down, I've got a saying, if life knocks you down, try and land on your back, because if you can look up, you can get up. See, a lot of people, because of failure, they stop believing. Let me share something with you. You will fail your way to success. Yes. 8 out of 10 millionaires have been financially bankrupt. You will fail your way to success. It doesn't matter how many times you fail. It doesn't matter how many times people tell you that you can't do it. It doesn't matter if you don't have a dime in the bank. You will fail your way to success. What's very important is you're believing in yourself. You're constantly saying, somehow, some way, I'm going to make it. I remember a lady out of Detroit, Michigan. They called her Martha Jean the Queen. And she had a motivational message she gave all the time on the radio. And the question she would ask was, do you really want to win? Do you really want to win? And she said, if you really want to win in life, you've got to believe in yourself when no one else does. You've got to believe in yourself. See, it's easy to believe in yourself and to have faith if you have a good bill of health, if your relationship is working out fine, if you have money in the bank, if you have a secure job, if your mortgage note is paid current, if the children are acting like they have good sense. It's easy. If you go to a doctor, they say, oh, you're doing real good, I'll see you next year. It's easy to have faith then. Let me tell you when it's really tough to have faith. When you lose your job, when you lose your retirement, when you go to the doctor and they look at you and say, you have cancer. Cancer is the most feared word in 7 different languages. That's when it's tough to have faith then. And that's when you need to call on your faith then. They said faith is the oil that takes the friction out of living. That's when you need to believe in yourself then and judge not according to appearances and say to yourself, it's possible. It's possible. I can make it. It's possible. I'm going to get through this. It's possible. I'm not going to allow this to get the best of me. Yeah, I don't know what you're up against. I don't know what you are facing, but here's what I do know. You've got something special. You've got greatness in you. And I know it's possible that you can live your dream.